Tarot has often been reserved for the strange, the occult, the bizarre, and black magic. Until recently, social media platforms such as YouTube have thrust tarot into the light. Welcome to my series on learning tarot. My name is Michelle Fondin, and I'm the author of Twin Flame Romance, The Journey to Unconditional Love. All of my books are available in paperback, Kindle, and Audible books. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for subscribing below. Click on that bell, scroll up to all for all notifications, and thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. I do readings, 30, 60, and 90-minute readings, twin flame, general readings, romance, life path, and purpose. You can book them on my website, michellefondinauthor.com. Today, we are going to address, does bad juju or bad energy exist? And how to clear that before you do a reading, whether it's a tarot reading or whether it's an oracle reading. Oh boy, highly contested topic, right? Because there are some camps that say, no, there's no dark energy, there's no bad juju, there's no bad energy, it's all light, right? It's all light. Everything emanates from the light. Everything emanates from God, which I do believe. However, there is another camp that believes like, no, there are darker forces, darker energies, and those energies can interfere when you tap into the spiritual world. Now, I'm a little bit in the middle of that. I do believe that everything emanates from the light. Everything emanates from God. However, that being said, we as beings on this earth plane, as beings in the universal plane, we all have been given something called free will. And since we've been given something called free will, we can make a choice to live in the light or to not live in the light or somewhere in between. It is my core belief that there are beings, including human beings, who have chosen to use the light in a very warped fashion so that they've used their spiritual powers to turn away from the light and to spin the light into darkness, which is actually like for a human, it's like infused with ego. And then you can turn and say like, oh, I'm a spiritual being, and turn into spiritual ego. And if you take it further, it will definitely get into those darker energies. So, is it true that there is bad juju, there is dark energy? I believe that there is. Now, when you're doing a reading, you do want to protect yourself from bad juju or darker energies or lower frequencies. So there are like a few ways you can do this. Now, it's a good idea to clear your space. Now, you can clear your space with crystals, with white sage. You could burn white sage, for example. You could burn incense. You can burn candles. You can set an intention to clear the energy in your space. You can ask Archangel Michael to clear the energy in your space. And you can clear yourself, and you can shield and protect yourself with angelic presence from lower energies. So those are all things that you can do, and I believe you should do before you do any type of reading, which is tapping into spiritual source. I always just say a prayer. Like before I do personal readings, I always say, dear God, please help me to help this person in the best way that I possibly can. Now, I know that it's never me helping the person when I do readings. It's always spirit. It's God who's helping the person. I'm just a channel through which God is helping this person. And so I always say a prayer, like that's my form of doing it. So you can say a prayer. You can say a prayer or a blessing over the cards and over the reading. You can say a blessing over yourself. Again, shield and protecting yourself against lower energies, bad juju, bad energy. You can ask Archangel Michael to shield and protect you. So those are all ways in which you can obliterate fear energy, lower energy, darker energy, ego energy, whatever you want to call it. I demonstrated this in another video, which I'll put the link here, in which I talked about how to choose a tarot card or how to choose an oracle card. Is I knock 3 times on the cards, and that was more than 3 times. I'm aware of that. Knock on the card 3 times or more before starting a reading, and that just kind of blasts out any previous energy, lower energy. It's something that I personally learned from my teachers, and that's why I do it that way. But you do want to protect your energy, and I would say after you do a reading, it's always a good idea to clear yourself too. So you can clear yourself. You can even just do a wave of a hand to like clear yourself of energy. Something I learned from my teachers was like clear, cancel, delete. So you can clear, cancel, delete negative thinking, negative thoughts, maybe negative thoughts that were put upon you by a client or another person. You can do cord cutting where you have like, it's sort of like umbilical cords, but they're invisible, but they're like energetic cords that other people will attach to you. So oftentimes if you're doing readings for other people, they will be envious or grateful or even codependent type people, in fact. And without even knowing it, they will attach like a cord to you. And so you want to detach yourself from that person and that person's energy by just, doing a cord cutting. You could even do something like this to do cord cutting. And again, Archangel Michael is a great resource to do cord cutting as well. So, you can always just set the intention to keep the reading in the highest light and love of God. And I always say that, like, keep this reading in the highest light and love of God the Father, Jesus the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Now, that may not be your belief system, but you can imagine, for example, that you're enveloping the reading, the cards, yourself in this bubble of white light. And so I would say definitely yes. You do not want darker energies to infuse your reading while you are reading for that person or yourself or channeling energy. The other thing that I did not mention that is really worth mentioning here is asking your angelic guides, asking God's spirit to help you to get your ego out of the reading. That's super important. Getting your own personal ego out of the reading. Here's why. We have had a plethora of life experiences. We have our own emotions. We have our own impressions of like what it means to be human, what it means to be in relationships, what it means to search for a job. So we've had so many life experiences. And if you are not careful as a reader to get your own ego out of the reading, you might be bringing your ego to the table in that reading. And you absolutely, positively do not want to do that, because that also brings a darker type of energy to the reading, even though you're not intending to do that. So another thing you can ask is you ask for spirit, God, the angels, to help bless your reading, but also to help you to keep your ego out of the reading. So I hope those tips were very helpful when doing a tarot reading or an oracle reading and getting the bad juju out. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for subscribing to my channel below. Click on that bell scroll to offer all notifications. And thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing this video with others who want to learn about tarot. And thank you for supporting this YouTube channel. I have 9 published books. You can pick them up and support this channel. And I will see you in the next video.